So Bloomberg News, and actually to be fair, this is in the opinion section of Bloomberg, they ran an article that is probably one of the single most out-of-touch things I've ever seen. So let me show you the headline, and then I'll show you the tweet, which gives the summation. So they say, inflation stings most if you earn less than $300,000. Here's how to deal. More Americans than ever expect their finances to worsen as inflation hits a 40-year high. Do you really need that extra car? So it's from Teresa Ghilarducci. Now let me show you the summation that is in this tweet here. This is, again, Bloomberg Opinion tweeted this. Inflation stings most if you earn less than $300,000. Here's how to deal. Number 1, take the bus. Number 2, don't buy in bulk. Number 3, try lentils instead of meat. And number 4, nobody said this would be fun. So when I tell you that this got ratioed to the high heavens, it got ratioed to the high heavens. Virtually 100% of the responses were people shitting on what they were saying. So let me go ahead. I'll just read you some of these. I don't have the graphic queued up to show you guys, but let me read you some of the replies because they are absolutely glorious. Now, I should tell you guys, about 98% of the country, 98%, makes under $300,000 a year. And they phrase this as like, well, like that's the poverty line or something. So somebody says $299,000 a year is the new poverty line, according to Bloomberg. Somebody says, let them eat lentils. Of course, a play on let them eat cake. Marion Williamson says, eat cake. Another tweet here from, and I think this is a conservative too, Jenna Ellis, quote, had a deal, you peasants. Gary Legum says, you know, a tweet that just read, hi, we're assholes, would have also sufficed. True. Take the bus, as if 45% of America does not have access to public transportation. This is a good one. It's a lentil, Michael. What could it cost? $10? It's a play on a very famous... What show is that from again? I don't remember what show that's from. But it's a very famous thing. What is it like? How much does a banana cost? It was something like that. Clowns trying to do the New York Times hate click game, but they can't get on that level. Sad. This lady, one person says, Brittany, this lady really said, LOL, if you're poor, just eat beans and let your pets die. So, let me pull it back up. Pull it back up. Get to the tweet. So I went and read the entire article. And my original plan was to just go through the entire article with you and, you know, break it down line by line. But here's the reality after reading it. The tweet actually sums it up. The tweet actually lays out, like, here are the points. So they say, take the bus. Another thing they say is, sell your car. Now, in the article, it's questionable. In the headline, doesn't it say something like, you know, sell the extra car or something? In the article, it almost seems more like they're just saying, sell your only car. So that's why they like, take the bus. Just learn to take the bus. Oh, Jesus. Don't buy in bulk. I don't even know. That's a weird one because sometimes when you buy in bulk, you save money. But in the article, they say, no, you actually don't save money when you buy in bulk. Try lentils instead of meat. So they're literally like, just eat beans. Eat beans to save money. Come on, get it together. What's the problem? And then there's one part of the article, which is probably the most grotesque part of the article, is they say, well, don't care too much about your pets. Like, sometimes pets are expensive, so you got to be cheaper on that front. And they even say, like, don't get your dog chemotherapy if they have cancer, because that could cost up to like $10,000. So in an article on talking about how the peasants should act, they're like, just let your dog die. Let your dog die. Just eat beans. Who cares if you're farting all over the place? Just deal with that shit. Take the bus. You got to tighten your belt, dog. You got to get it together. Now, this is condescending. This is patronizing. But I think the real reason at the core of why people get so frustrated with stuff like this is because, look, if you're in the media, your job should be to rail against the government, rail against the corrupt politicians and the elites and the billionaires, the people who have effectively rigged the system to make it so many people are struggling. Like, why are you not berating Congress because Congress couldn't pass an extension of the child tax credit, which would have given people an extra $300 or $400, which would have helped massively? Why is that not what your article is about? Why is your article not about, hey, we could use universal pre-K, a lot of other countries have it, we could use free college, a lot of other countries have it. Like, you want to ease the burden for working people? There's very clear, straightforward, obvious ways to ease the burden. I mean, lowering prescription drug prices is the most obvious one. Administration after administration after administration always says, we're going to do that, we're going to lower the prices, and then nobody ever does it. Biden even has the authority to do that through executive order, and he's not doing that. Where's your article on that? Where's your article on, I know the situation's fucked up, here's why it's fucked up, and here's how we can fix it, and the problem is with the government. The government is not looking out for your best interest because the government is beholden to corporations. So I'm here to be the cop on the beat, looking out for you, my reader. But clearly, that's not what they do. They finger wag at their readers, and they act like, well, this is really a personal failing on your part. That's the implication here, right? That's the inference. Like, this is on you. This is on you. Why aren't you eating more beans? Why are you giving your dog treatment? That's expensive. Why don't you sell your car? You can have extra money if you sell your car. Duh, do that. They talk about how, look, I mean, the used cars and new cars, the prices are going up, so what are we going to do? I mean, you just got to get your shit together and hop on the bus, dog. It's so condescending, it's so pedantic, and we know that whoever's writing this article would never even do these things themselves. They would never do that. It's stunning to me that they think they're being helpful. Because, you had to, on some level when you're writing this, you had to think like, I'm helping people out here. People are going to be thankful that I'm giving them a list of things that could give them more money and ease some of the burden. This is how they're thinking. It has to be. It has to be how the Teresa lady's thinking when she wrote this. But it's almost, I can't even wrap my mind around the idea that somebody really has these thoughts in the current climate. I can't wrap my mind around it. But they're real. They exist. And by the way, look, this is the media class right here. That bubble is so deep and so thick, and it is impenetrable. By the way, here's a good policy change that can and should happen at various media organizations. Hire more working class people. Hire somebody who's actually dealt with a lot of these issues. Don't have people in their ivory tower look down on the rest of the population and finger wag and tell them, get your shit together and here's how. Have people who've gone through it, who've struggled, who are sympathetic, who know the underlying causes. Because again, the idea here is if you're struggling, it's just a moral failing on your own part. It's just an ethical failing on your own part. So get your act together. Here's how you could do it. That's the idea. But guys, I don't know how many times I could go through this, but the fact of the matter is we live in a country where the minimum wage isn't even a living wage. So there are millions of people who are working a full-time job who don't make enough money to survive. That has nothing to do with a lack of effort or, a poor, outlook on the world or an ethical failing. It has nothing to do with that. It's a reflection on how shitty the system is. It's not a reflection on an individual messing up. But that's clearly not how they look at it. That's not how they look at it at all. So, God, really, really bad. Really bad. I can't, man. How? How is this real? How is this real? Well, look, you wonder why people hate the media. This is like case in point right here. If you want to see me and Crystal Ball interview legends like Noam Chomsky, Cornel West, and more, subscribe to Crystal, Kyle, and Friends on Substack. $5 a month gets you the video version a day early. Remember, we take 0 ad dollars for this podcast. Or you can sign up on Substack for free and get the audio version a day later. Link in the video description box below.